Oh, hello there. This is the Movie Meisters, Matt,
And Kenneth?
and we just saw Django. I was kind of disappointed by Django. I've been putting off watching it because I like the early Tarantino movies, and I don't want to ruin my image of Quentin Tarantino as a director. I mean, it was a good movie. It doesn't live up to my expectations.
I really enjoyed Django. As someone who's a fan of the spaghetti western genre, there's a lot of references to that. The general plot, for the most part, is it's simple enough that I enjoyed it. I feel like certain elements of it were maybe drawn out unnecessarily, but well, I'm surprised though. I know you're a fan of Tarantino, but I'm curious what you found so disappointing.
I thought there was a lot of weird things in this movie that they just shouldn't have been in the movie, and they make the movie worse, and they confuse me. There's this part where they're some kind of primitive version of the KKK is gonna come and get them, the hoods and stuff. I'm just like, what is going on in this movie?
And it was done in the typical Tarantino flashback, yeah.
Right before the sequence, they show them preparing the wagon by stuffing dynamite into the tooth on
Yeah.
top of the wagon, which just removes all the tension from everything. There's no point to that scene now. I know exactly what's going to happen. It's going to blow up and the bad guy's going to run away.
Well, yes. To be fair, I thought the scene was funny, actually. I saw it as just one super extended comedic scene. One criticism I had, I guess it's the way the story was meant to be told, but it's just the ending. We really like the dentist character, played by Christoph Waltz. He's a great actor. He won the Academy Award for this movie. But he does something at the end that actually makes things a lot more difficult for the main character. He kills the main villain after everything's all taken care of. They have the wife now. He had to pay quite a bit of money, but he had the wife. And he has like this moment of, he needs to die. But in doing so, he makes things very, very difficult for Django and his wife to get away. And it's just by sheer luck that they managed to survive at the end.
Well, I am actually okay with that because to me, in addition to being spaghetti western, this movie is definitely alludes to the genre of like the revenge porn type of thing, like I Spit on Your Grave type of movie, right? Mm-hmm. Where something bad happens to the main character and they spend the rest of the movie mercilessly killing everyone who is responsible. So it needed to happen, right? They can't just like shake his hand and walk away. Then a plot excuse for a final gunfight. Okay, so one thing that really stood out to me, and this is, I don't know, maybe this seems like a minor detail to some people, but to me it was just almost comical, was the whole movie establishes this kind of visual style of when people get shot, kind of thick globs of blood fly out of them, right? Which is, I thought was kind of neat, because Tarantino always does go for the over-top blood kind of stuff, and this one, it was just a little different visually, and it was kind of nice. Mm-hmm. But then at the very end, the sister of the plantation owner, right, he just shoots her, and she flies backward, like it looks like one of those Paranormal Activity movies where somebody gets grabbed by a ghost and goes flash.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Kind of like and dislike different things, because for me that's Tarantino, because like a scene can be both simultaneously serious and humorous, and I think that was just adding to.
It must be on purpose.
Yeah, no, it has to be.
Everything else in the movie, there's a very consistent visual style.
Yeah.
A melodramatic way in which people get shot and blood explodes out of them.
Sure. We've both seen the movie RoboCop, and you have two scenes where someone gets shot up and a bunch of gore is coming out. One of them is played for humor. Another one we're supposed to be, completely invested in. And this movie has that kind of same feel, because whenever it's a villain, their body explodes and, there's blood all over the place. But when it's a good character that we don't want to die, they play it very realistic. Yes, the bad guys are exploding. Yes, I love this. And then,
okay. Well, yeah, it has some breathing room, right? Even sometimes when the bad guys get shot, it's not over the top. Like when the main bad guy gets shot, it's a neat little thing where a bit of blood appears inside of the flower on his jacket. Yeah, I get that. It's kind of cinematically, it can get crazier or get more realistic depending on the needs of that scene. But this one is right in the middle of a scene where, like, shooting a bunch of people that are running through the door, and like 3 seconds later he does this. And then right after that he starts shooting Samuel Jackson, and it goes back to being more realistic. The magical power just kind of, for that second, intervened and made her fly backwards.
Oh man, I don't know though. That seems like one of those Tarantino going back to the old movies where they just did something simple to try to convince you that something's happening. But I get it. Would you say like your criticisms of the movie are mostly like little things that kind of annoyed you, or are there larger issues in the movie?
I don't know. That sequence, I don't think, for example, is very satisfying when she gets shot because I guess the idea is supposed to be, oh, you condone this, so you're equally as culpable. Fuck you for trying to be innocent. But he does the same thing. The whole movie, he's condoning horrible things. He watches a guy get eaten by dogs.
Yeah.
Just so he can stay in character and try to rescue his wife. So what? So what? She went along with it.
Well, I mean, I guess in that particular instance, you can argue that that guy was going to die anyway.
I will say I thought Samuel L. Jackson was great in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
He gets typecast as the guy who yells a lot and curses a lot. And in this movie, in spite of the fact that his character is constantly cursing, and the cursing is just delightful and hilarious, he seems like a completely different person who just happens to have the face of Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, yeah. He's very loud, he's very bombastic, but he does have a little bit of subtlety, signaling Leonardo DiCaprio, just like small moments like that. But let me ask you this, Matt. Are you at all a fan of Leonardo DiCaprio?
I thought going into this movie that maybe the accent was going to be a problem and it was going to make his character unintentionally ridiculous in some way, but I don't know why I thought that. I guess I just have some kind of latent prejudice against Leonardo DiCaprio, but it was good. It was, yeah.
I don't know if you probably remember this, is he slams his hand on the table and his hand starts bleeding. Leonardo DiCaprio's hand was really bleeding. He just didn't break character.
Oh, damn.
I have to toss that in there because I just thought that was great. He even improvises with it a little bit. Have you seen Christoph Waltz in anything else? I mean, we don't talk about performances very much, but Tarantino seems to get a lot out of his actors, I think.
I think he was great. I think he did a lot with just even enunciation. You could tell that he had contempt for somebody he would add a little levity just by changing the way he pronounced the words. I mean, he did a great job.
Yeah. Well, Matt, you've pointed out a certain Baz Luhrmann movie could be seen as applying to this movie, and the use of modern music didn't say that bothered you in this movie. Could you explain why?
All right, so in The Great Gatsby, there's a big party, and parties in the 1920s were decadent. I don't know if you're aware of this, Kenneth. Baz Luhrmann does not believe you're aware of this because he wants to prove that to you with music. And just like in Moulin Rouge, he doesn't trust you to understand by hearing music from the time that the movie takes place in that emotion exists, right? So he needs to get the modern music. You need to hear, Jay-Z, right? Because that's the decadent music of our times.
Yeah.
I think that's really annoying.
Yeah, and it's talking down to the audience.
This movie, I mean, it kind of does that. It's a little bit better because in that scene in The Great Gatsby, there's supposed to be music playing at the party, and so it's that music is in the scene, whereas the modern music in Django is the music that the audience is listening to.
Yeah.
And so it's a little better. It's kind of like in 300 where rock music starts playing out of nowhere, right? Like there's nobody standing at the hot gates with electric guitars, right?
Right.
But I still don't like it. I didn't like it in 300, and I didn't like it in this movie. But it's not nearly as bad, I think.
Yeah, well, see, that kind of goes along with the Tarantino thing where he just likes, he finds music he likes and he just puts it in the movie. And one thing I really liked in the movie, and this is a story thing, is Django he gets his first bounty, and then he keeps the wanted poster because the dentist says, you have to keep your wanted poster, from your first kill. He ends up using that in a very clever way towards the end, where he has to trick the Australian miners who have now captured him. He said, see, look, these are the guys I was hunting at that plantation, but everything went wrong. So, you get to have some of the bounty. I thought that was really that was a very clever way of getting out of his ordeal. I like things like that, things that you wouldn't think are going to be relevant later on, and then he uses it. So,
well, thank you for watching this.
And remember,
cinema is not a slice of life, but a piece of cake.